Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance? Wow, I thought I had seen some turds in my day, but I'm not for sure what to think about this film.
I pooped.
First off, how can you have a movie based off Marvel Knights without it being rated R? Well, let me explain. You know how in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Blade, the bad guys always shatter into dust? Well, that's what happens in this movie, too. It's like they did everything that they could think of not to show you any blood whatsoever. But this didn't bother me as much as the effects and the editing did. It felt like I was watching Highlander the Source. If you haven't seen Highlander the Source, you're not really missing out on anything. And if you haven't seen Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, well, you're not missing out on anything. At the beginning of the film, Idris Elba's running around shooting these cartoon bullets, and at times it feels like they didn't even try to finish the effects. In one scene, there's this guy who acts like Christian Slater, who kind of looks like the guy from Hellboy 2 or something. He's running around decaying people, and at times it just stops and goes into this black scene and stop-motion animation, Zack Snyder stuff. I don't know what was going on there, but it really kind of had me angry. I mean, this is the only movie I've ever seen where they try to overdo underdoing something. Speaking of overdoing it, at times it just feels like Nicolas Cage is just narrating way too much in this film.
There's good and bad in all of us. It doesn't matter how far you run. There are some demons you just can't escape.
The only time it really didn't bother me was when the opening credits were happening and we kind of get this really cool motion comic. I'm Ghost Rider. But at times we got these random scenes that didn't make no sense and just come out of nowhere. Like at one point they even threw up a picture of Jerry Springer.
Random scene, Jerry Springer.
I'm not kidding. He just shows up in a lo-fi picture and you're supposed to think, what's he doing here? And I don't know why they had to add random scenes of Ghost Rider peeing for no reason whatsoever. It's like when they shot this scene, they didn't even want to finish the green screen, so they just painted it all black. Since it had the Marvel Knights logo on it, I figured that maybe we would get a little horror story, or they would make Ghost Rider a little bit darker or more mean or something. There's so many unfunny, pointless jokes in this movie you would think you was watching Paul Blart Mall Cop or something.
Paul Blart, you will fear me.
And where the hell was Vengeance? And you know that Vengeance is a bad dude. They could have at least give us a cameo or a glimpse of him or something. Instead, we get a blue Ghost Rider. I mean, seriously, a blue Ghost Rider? But don't worry about that. You only get a few seconds of it, and then you're left wondering, what the hell did I just watch? I'm Ghost Rider. I thought the 3D would make it better, but at the time I was left wanting to watch the trailers again. 3D is okay. It's not the best, but not terrible either. It's the convoluted plot and what felt like unfinished effects that ruined it for me. And if you want to know the plot, Standard Kid's the Antichrist and Ghost Rider's got to stop him. Basically, it's End of Days with Nick Cage as Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. Like I said before, it felt like I was watching Highlander the Source or something. Even Christopher Lambert was in it for like a whole 4 seconds. And at first I thought he had a tattoo on his lip that said stink, because that's what this movie did, was stink. The only people I could recommend this movie to is Buffy the Vampire fans who wanted to know what happened to Rupert Giles after the end of Buffy. And the reason I say that is that you have either already seen the film or you're going to go see it. And I personally can't recommend this film at all. There's a few cool scenes, but they ruined it with the hectic, unfinished feeling editing. Ghost Rider looks cooler than the first movie, but the movie just isn't worth it to me. To put it this way, it's worse than the Green Lantern and ties with the Punisher Warzone, and I'd rather go back and watch Highlander the Source again and save my money than watch this movie. I don't even think that Peter Fonda could have saved this movie if he came back. With so much potential, I feel like I've been cheated out of my money. I went into this movie with no expectations, and that's exactly what I got. Well, I guess if you like awful jokes, puking fire, pointless scenes, and wasting money, then you might like this film. Random scene, I'm Ghost Rider, look at me! Oh, I'm Ghost Rider!